As significant hail fell across portions of Dallas-Fort Worth, resulting in a lot of structural damage to even offices, buildings, and even service vehicles. But most notably, we've been talking about the unfortunate deaths of zoo animals as a result of the larger hail. So we're going to bring in now Director of Communication Alexis Wilson in Fort Worth, Texas with the Fort Worth Zoo. Alexis, a tough day there at the Fort Worth Zoo this morning.
A very difficult morning for our staff. Not only getting the park ready, but most especially the loss of some valued members of our zoo family.
Yes, absolutely. So tell me a little bit about kind of how this unfolded. Were you there this morning? What types of animals that unfortunately were lost and how quickly this came on?
The storm came on hard and fast at about 6:30 this morning. We were hit actually about 4:30, and it was very small and didn't sustain any damage. But this area was hit again 2 hours later. Everything we lost 8 birds, 5 flamingo, a pelican, a small ibis, and a small swan. And all of those animals were out in their enclosures. They were out with other animals, most of which took shelter and were safe from the storm, but unfortunately those 8 did not make it.
Oh man, that's got to be a really, really tough morning. So you were telling me a little bit earlier, did you guys shut down the zoo for a period of time and kind of have to reopen, or what was kind of the mood there in the scene, and how is it feeling right now?
When we got into the zoo this morning, we had staff here that actually were on premises when the storm hit. So we all moved in a little faster and assessed the situation. We were not able to open at our regular 10 o'clock time. We delayed that until 11:30. This is right in the middle of spring break for the Fort Worth and Dallas independent school districts. So it's an extremely busy time at the zoo. The upside of that is that we have a lot of staff on hand. And so all of those people who ordinarily would have been cleaning up the zoo and getting it ready for other reasons simply turned their attention to cleaning up a lot of ice. It looked like we had an ice storm here. So we had layers and layers of ice on many different paths. We have one of the most extraordinary staff teams in the country. We are one of the top zoos in the country, and they are why. So they got everything cleaned up. We were able to open at 11:30, and we actually have thousands of people in the zoo right now.
Oh, well, it's a great way to bounce back. It certainly is. And you were telling me earlier it was about egg to golf ball size hail. That's, falling 80, 90 miles per hour out of the sky, Alexis. Unfortunately, I'm not at all surprised that you did lose a few animals, but that can be really dangerous.
It can be, and we did have a staff member that was hit. It came on that quickly that she was out and just couldn't get in fast enough. Fortunately, it was a very minor injury, and she was, as is true of most of our staff, she was right back on duty before we even really knew what happened.
Yeah.
So it can be very dangerous. It was a scary time, and we have 7,000 animals in our zoo. So, relatively speaking, it was a very, very small loss. It could have been much worse. Nonetheless, it is a loss, and we're all sad.
Yes, it certainly is, and our thoughts go out to you guys. But it sounds like, too, you're bouncing back and carrying on with a lot of resilience with the staff there, too. So thank you so much for talking to us today. We wish you guys the best going forward, especially during this busy time for spring break. And we'll certainly be thinking about you guys, and it's certainly been a pleasure to talk to you today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mary.
You're welcome.